But I think what's really a great problem for them now, as of the last few weeks, is that Meghan has got no real income anymore. She's finished.
For years, Meghan Markle's story was presented as a simple rise from actress to royal. But Tom Bower's research suggests there may have been carefully shaped moments behind the scenes that never fully reached the public eye. If parts of her past were truly removed or softened in major interviews, what else might still be hidden from view today? More than meets the eye. At the heart of Tom Bower's research lies a money story that has made many people stop and think.
But I do think that Sussex Overdrive is unbelievable. But I mean, I don't think that
During her time on the television series Suits, Meghan Markle was said to earn about $50,000 for each episode. For most people, that kind of pay would mean a very comfortable life. But when people looked closely at how she was living between 2011 and 2016, something did not seem to match. There were photos and posts that showed her spending time on large luxury boats in beautiful places like Monaco and the French Riviera. These trips alone could cost more than hundreds of thousands for just 1 week, and that is only for the boat itself. It does not include the workers on board, the fuel, or the fees to park at famous harbors like Port Hercules. When people added up everything else, the picture became even more surprising. There were stylish clothes from top designers, long flights in first-class seats, and stays in very expensive hotels in cities such as London and New York City. Step by step, the numbers did not seem to fit together in a simple way. This led some investigators to believe that there might have been more going on behind the scenes. They began to wonder if she was part of a powerful social circle, where invitations and access were provided by others. The story grew even more complicated after her well-known interview in 2021 with Oprah Winfrey. New claims that came out in 2026 suggested that there was much more recorded than what people saw on television. It was said that she spent many hours after filming asking for certain parts to be removed, especially topics connected to her earlier social life. This made some people question why parts of her past needed to be hidden if everything was clear and honest. At the same time, her public story has often focused on her struggles with the royal system after she met Prince Harry. Yet, according to Bower's findings, some believe the real pressure may have come from her own desire to shape how the world sees her. Some think it may come from a deep wish to protect a certain image, to make her journey appear simple and accidental instead of carefully planned over many years. There is also talk about how the royal family first reacted. Though they never spoke openly, it is believed that Prince William and Catherine Middleton actually enjoyed watching Suits and were happy at the idea of meeting her. But inside the palace, teams who check backgrounds may have noticed details that did not fully make sense. As these revelations continue, it stretches back to moments like gatherings in the Hamptons in 2006 and private meetings in exclusive clubs. Piece by piece, it paints a picture that some see not as a simple fairy tale, but as a careful climb through important social spaces, guided by connections, timing, and quiet ambition. Where opportunity meets intention. The story that now surrounds Tom Bower and Meghan Markle feels like the opening of a very long book that is only just being read. For many years, people saw bright lights, smiling faces, and carefully told stories through shows and interviews. But now, more eyes are turning toward the quieter corners, the places far away from cameras, where moments once passed without much notice.
I mean, the moment they went there and allowed themselves to be photographed, and I thought, well, how much are they being paid for this? And quite clearly, they're being paid to promote it this week.
It is as if a curtain is slowly being pulled back, allowing a different kind of story to come into view. To understand how this journey began, one has to travel back to the year 2006. At that time, Meghan was still finding her way in the world of television. She appeared as one of the briefcase models on the game show Deal or No Deal. It was not a leading role, but it was a step forward. Yet, even then, some believed she had already begun to see something important about the entertainment world. In that space, skill mattered, but knowing the right people could matter even more. That same summer in 2006, something unusual happened. Meghan was seen at a very private gathering in the Hamptons. This was not a place where unknown actors usually went. It was a meeting point for powerful and wealthy individuals from around the world. Among the guests was Harvey Weinstein, a man who once held great influence in the film industry before his reputation fell. There is no clear proof that Meghan worked with him, but the moment itself stood out. According to Bauer's findings, this event marked an early turning point. It was a moment where doors began to open, not through auditions, but through introductions. It is said that public relations teams helped secure her place in rooms that her acting work alone might not have reached at that time. In those settings, some guests were invited simply to add charm and beauty to the space. But Meghan, as described in these accounts, was not just there to be seen. She watched, she listened, and she learned how influence moved from one person to another. From that point, a quiet network began to form around her. Instead of following the usual path of auditions and small roles, she started connecting with people who had wealth and reach beyond Hollywood. This path was not loud or obvious. It was gentle, careful, and steady, like someone walking through a maze while remembering every turn. Another moment often discussed in Bauer's work involves her early acting steps. When she sought a role in a project called Century City, she needed to be part of the Actors Union. It is said that she told casting teams she was already a member of the Screen Actors Guild, even though she had not yet joined. For some, this might seem like a small stretch of the truth, something people sometimes do when chasing a dream. But when placed beside the larger story, it becomes a detail that makes people pause. It suggests a willingness to move ahead first and adjust the story later. As time moved forward to 2011, her life changed again. She was cast as Rachel Zane in Suits. The role brought her steady work and a growing audience. Still, the income from the show did not seem to fully explain the kind of life she began to show to the world. Around this time, she started a blog called The Tig. On the surface, it was a place where she shared thoughts about food, travel, and daily life. Yet, behind the gentle tone of the blog, some believed there was another purpose. Through it, she received invitations to stay in luxury places, from grand hotels to beautiful villas. Names like Fairmont Properties and exclusive homes in places such as Ibiza became part of her story. These stays were often described as partnerships or sponsorships. But even then, the level of comfort and access she enjoyed sometimes seemed far beyond what a growing lifestyle blog could normally provide. During this time, an important figure appeared in her circle. Marcus Anderson was known for his role within the Soho House network, a group of private clubs found in cities around the world. Through this connection, Meghan traveled to places like Istanbul, Berlin, and London. She stayed in elegant spaces, met influential individuals, and moved quietly through circles that were not always visible to the public. For anyone who asked how she could afford such a life, the simple answer often pointed back to the blog. But some observers felt that explanation did not fully answer the question. Instead, they believed she was being gently introduced into a larger world, one where presence mattered just as much as profession. Back on the set of Suits in Toronto, there were whispers of change. Some people noticed that her expectations began to grow. Requests for special meals and perfect lighting became more common. To some, it looked like confidence. To others, it seemed like preparation, as if she was stepping into a role far bigger than the character she played on screen. As the years moved into 2013 and 2014, this journey entered what some call a new phase. In September 2013, Meghan spent about a month in New York City. At that time, Suits was filming its third season in Toronto. Actors often travel during breaks, but this stay caught attention because of where she stayed. The hotels were among the most expensive in Manhattan, places where even a short visit could cost more than what many people earn in months. Around that same period, Prince Andrew was also in New York. There has never been clear evidence that their paths crossed directly, but the timing made some people curious. The bigger question for investigators later was simple: who supported such a long and costly stay? Some sources suggested that she was being hosted within private social circles, where wealthy individuals arranged quiet gatherings away from public view. These spaces were often protected by privacy agreements and careful planning. It was a world where people could meet without leaving a clear trace, and where presence itself could open new doors. Then, in October 2014, another moment added to the story. Meghan traveled to Dublin to attend the One Young World Summit. This event is known for bringing together young leaders and voices from around the world. During this visit, she was welcomed in a way that seemed far greater than her level of fame at the time. A key figure in this moment was John Fitzpatrick. Known for his success in the hotel world, he offered her support, including high-quality accommodation and introductions to important people. For some, this raised a quiet question. Why would someone so established offer such attention to a rising actress? Bauer describes this as part of a larger system, a network of individuals who help others move into spaces of influence. In this view, Meghan was not simply attending an event in Dublin. She was exploring a new identity, one that placed her among global voices and future leaders. Each step along this path seemed to build on the last. The gatherings in 2006, the travels during the early 2010s, the connections in cities across the world all came together like pieces of a puzzle. Some see it as ambition guided by opportunity. Others see it as careful planning, shaped over many years. Through all of this, one idea remains at the center of the conversation: the difference between appearance and reality. To the public, her journey looked like a steady rise through talent and chance. But to those studying the details, it appeared more layered, more complex, and filled with moments that invite deeper thought. Now, let's understand the forces that help shape the path along the way. The gentle art of moving through hidden worlds. There is a quiet chapter in the story of Meghan Markle that often slips past quickly, like waves brushing against the shore. It takes place during the break periods of the show Suits, when filming paused and life moved off camera. During those times, her name began to appear in places far from the studio lights.
Remember that nothing about Meghan which appears is by accident. She always arrives or does something and makes sure that it gets into the public domain.
Her online traces and the words of people who moved within the circles of Monaco told a gentle but curious story. They spoke of bright afternoons on grand boats and quiet evenings at private beach spots where entry alone could cost more than most people imagine. These were not simple outings. To be part of the yachting life in places like Monaco or Ibiza required more than just money for a ticket. It needed connection, invitation, and trust. According to the work of Tom Bauer, there was a striking gap between what she earned and what she experienced. Her reported pay of $50,000 per episode sounded impressive. Yet, when placed beside the cost of life along the French Riviera, it seemed small. Renting even a modest luxury yacht in that region could reach over $200,000 for just 1 week. And that was only the beginning. Food, drinks, and fuel could raise the total by another 30%. Then there were the private gatherings. Places like Villa Nelcote or elite clubs in Monte Carlo were not spaces where people simply paid to enter. Access often came through someone already trusted within that world. It was not about buying a ticket, but about being welcomed. In this setting, Bauer describes a different kind of skill. He suggests that Meghan learned how to be an ideal guest, someone kind, careful, and easy to have around. By doing so, she could move within circles of great wealth and enjoy a lifestyle that looked like that of a millionaire, even if her own earnings did not match it. But such a life came with its own quiet rules. One of the most important was silence. The names of those who opened doors had to remain hidden. Their privacy mattered. This, some believe, connects to what happened years later during her 2021 conversation with Oprah Winfrey. By the time new reports appeared in 2026, it was said that much more had been recorded than what people eventually saw. Insiders shared that large parts of the discussion were removed, especially moments that touched on her earlier connections. The final version shown to the world felt smooth and complete, but behind it, there may have been many layers left unseen. Some observers think that mentioning certain people or moments could have changed how her story was understood. It might have taken away from the image of a fully independent woman building her life on her own terms. Instead, the version presented was one of clarity and strength, shaped carefully for public view. There is also a common belief that the British royal family struggled to accept her because she worked in television. Yet history shows that this is not entirely true. Members of the royal household have long had ties with the entertainment world. The deeper concern, according to some accounts, came from careful checks carried out when her relationship with Prince Harry became serious. Between 2013 and 2015, her travels were studied closely. What appeared was a life filled with expensive journeys and stays that did not always have clear explanations. There were links to wealthy groups, flights on private jets arranged through extended networks, and long visits to hotels in New York City that seemed far beyond what her income alone could support. For Prince William, some say the concern was not about where she came from, but about what her path suggested. It looked less like chance and more like careful movement through powerful spaces, guided by knowledge of how those worlds worked. By 2021, Meghan had grown far beyond her early acting days. She had become a global figure, known across continents. The interview with Oprah was meant to share her truth and perhaps close earlier chapters. Yet, as new details continued to emerge in 2026, it seemed that some parts of her past still rested quietly beneath the surface. One detail often mentioned by insiders involves Marcus Anderson and the network of private clubs connected to Soho House, while the public heard a simple story of how she met Harry through a mutual friend. Some claim the original recording told a more detailed version of how she became part of important social circles in London. It is said that she preferred those parts to remain unseen, perhaps to protect the feeling that her journey was natural and unplanned. To some, this choice reflects the careful shaping of a personal story. To others, it is simply the human desire to present life in the best possible light. As the revelation continues, it gently leads back to an earlier moment, her feature in a 2017 issue of Vanity Fair. That moment, too, now feels like a piece of a much larger picture, one that is still being explored, understood, and quietly told. A carefully built version of the truth. There is a moment in every long story when gentle questions begin to grow louder. In the work of Tom Bower, one such moment came during a magazine feature that took place years before the world watched Meghan Markle step into royal life. It was during her appearance in Vanity Fair, before 2017 had fully passed, that her personal story met careful checking for the first time. During that interview, Meghan shared a childhood memory from when she was 11 years old. She spoke about writing a letter to Procter & Gamble, often called P&G, asking them to change a dish soap advertisement she believed was unfair to women. It was a powerful story, one that painted the image of a young girl, already standing up for what she believed was right. But when the magazine team quietly reached out to the company and to experts who study old advertisements, they could not find proof that events happened exactly as described. The tone of the article reflected this small doubt. According to reports, this did not sit well with Meghan. It is said that she was deeply upset that the story was not presented as a clear and certain truth. From that moment, some believe she understood something important. If a story is to be believed fully, it must be told in a way that leaves no room for questions. By the time she sat down in 2021 with Oprah Winfrey, she appeared ready. The same childhood story was shared again, but this time it flowed without challenge, as a simple and complete truth. Without opposing voices or follow-up questions, it became a strong part of her public image, giving her a sense of moral strength in the eyes of many. Yet, behind that calm presentation, there were whispers that much more had been discussed than what viewers eventually saw. In years to come, new claims suggested that the recorded material was much longer than the final version shown to the public. Some insiders spoke of questions that explored her travels and lifestyle between 2012 and 2015, years when her life seemed to move across different countries and social spaces. These topics, it is said, were marked as unfair or harmful by her team and removed before the broadcast. The reason, according to some observers, was simple. Speaking openly about those years, especially about time spent on private yachts or in exclusive circles, might have created a different picture. It could have linked her story to a world of influence and quiet exchanges, something she seemed careful to avoid. Instead, the version presented showed a woman focused on work, growth, and advocacy. It was a story of steady effort and purpose, one that many people could easily connect with. In this way, the past became softer, shaped into something that matched the future she was building. This leads to a deeper question that Bower often raises. Why would someone who speaks about honesty feel the need to reshape parts of her own journey? Some believe the answer lies in the space where hope and fear meet. There may have been a desire not only to succeed, but to be seen as good, pure, and worthy in every way. The early years, filled with auditions, small roles, and moments of uncertainty, may have felt like shadows compared to the bright image she later carried. Transforming that image may have required careful choices about. Through it, she received invitations to stay in luxury places, from grand hotels to beautiful villas. Names like Fairmont Properties and exclusive homes in places such as Ibiza became part of her story, what to share and what to leave behind. In this view, the interview in 2021 was not only about telling a story, it was about beginning a new chapter, one where the past would no longer define the present. Another idea that grew from that interview was the belief that the royal household did not accept her because she came from television. Yet, according to several accounts, including those discussed by Bauer, this was not the full picture. Prince William and Catherine Middleton were said to have enjoyed watching Suits and had no issue with her profession. What concerned them, some say, were the parts of her history that did not fully align. By the time her relationship with Prince Harry became serious, careful reviews had already begun. These reviews looked into her movements between 2012 and 2015 and found moments that raised quiet questions. There were long stays in New York City, connections to wealthy groups, and a lifestyle that seemed larger than what her income alone might explain. To those within a family that has existed for nearly 1,000 years, such details may have called for caution rather than quick acceptance. Yet, when these concerns were later framed publicly as simple dislike or unfair judgment, the deeper reasons were left hidden from view. At the center of this unfolding story stands another important figure, Marcus Anderson. Often described as more than just a friend, he played a role within the private club network of Soho House, known for bringing influential people together in carefully chosen settings. According to Bauer's research, Anderson's role in Meghan's life was significant. He was someone who understood how to shape a room, how to place the right people together at the right time. It is believed that he saw potential in her early and helped guide her through spaces that many would find difficult to enter. Through this connection, she gained access to private locations in cities such as London, Istanbul, and Toronto. These places offered privacy and comfort, allowing conversations and introductions to happen away from public attention. In such environments, a reputation could grow quietly, built not on headlines but on presence. The story of how Meghan and Harry met is often told as a simple blind date arranged by a mutual friend, yet some accounts suggest that the setting was more carefully planned. A private room within Soho House, known for its quiet elegance, became the space where their paths crossed. In that moment, trust played a key role. Harry saw someone who had been introduced through a familiar and respected connection, and this trust was shaped by Anderson's support. Between whispers, wealth, and perception. In the quiet corners of this long and winding story, a group once whispered about in tabloids began to take shape. Some people gave them a nickname, linking them to the private club world of Soho House. In those spaces, far from cameras and crowds, connections were built in soft voices and careful steps. According to the work of Tom Bauer, these circles may have acted like a shield around Meghan Markle before her royal life began. During the years between 2012 and 2015, there were accounts placing her on beautiful boats along the Mediterranean, moving through places like Monaco and the French Riviera. These were not simple holidays. They were part of a world where entry depended on knowing the right people.
I don't even know they're real.
Well, I know they're real because I traced a couple of them, but I mean, that's not the point. Truly, the point is that I named the source as a troll.
It is said that many of these journeys were linked to members of Soho House or influential figures connected to it. By describing these trips as work-related experiences or research for her lifestyle blog, The Tig, the story remains smooth and acceptable. In this way, her presence in these exclusive settings did not raise immediate concern. Instead, it seemed like part of a growing public image. At the center of this web stood Marcus Anderson, a man known for quietly bringing people together. Bauer suggests that one of his greatest strengths was his ability to keep things private. He understood how to guide someone through powerful circles without leaving clear marks behind. He showed that if the invitation came from the right person, questions would rarely follow. Prince William and Catherine Middleton, who had once enjoyed watching Suits, were said to have approached the situation with curiosity at first. But as reports came in, their view may have changed. They were not looking at a simple story of an actress rising through talent alone. Instead, they saw signs of a carefully guided journey supported by unseen hands. Some began to wonder if this was not just about one person, but about a wider network moving quietly behind the scenes. The concern, as described in Bauer's research, was not her career in entertainment. It was the possibility that an ancient institution was being approached by modern methods that, by the time the world reached 2026, the story had grown larger than anyone expected. What started as small whispers in the early 2010s became a full re-examination of events. New materials, including images from places like Monaco and the French Riviera, added visual pieces to a puzzle that had been forming for years. Looking back, certain moments stood out clearly. The gathering in the Hamptons in 2006, the long stay in New York City in 2013, and the important appearance in Dublin in 2014. Each step seemed connected by the presence of influential supporters and opportunities that went beyond what her acting career alone might have provided. One detail remained especially striking. In an industry where earnings are often known, the difference between a salary of $50,000 per episode and a lifestyle that could reach $200,000 per week in the Mediterranean was not easy to explain. To some, this gap became the central question of the entire story. As more details came forward, even the early reactions of the royal family were seen in a new light. Rather than simple dislike, their caution appeared rooted in what they had learned through careful checks. They had seen patterns, connections, and moments that called for deeper thought. At the same time, her public voice continued to tell a story of struggle and control. During her 2021 interview with Oprah Winfrey, she spoke of feeling restricted by the palace. Yet some observers later suggested that the palace itself was simply trying to understand her fully. In this telling, the act of reviewing her past may have felt like a threat to the version of life she had already shared. A version shaped over time, built carefully like a house of cards, where each piece depended on the one before it. By 2026, that structure faced strong winds. New findings, combined with Bauer's continued work, brought forward details that could no longer be easily set aside. The smooth story once presented began to show its edges, revealing a more layered and complex journey.